What the hell is going on, people? This is Periodic, and you see the title of the video. We are jumping back into Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. We're jumping back into part 2 of the 350 million downloads, global downloads reached celebration. I forgot what the hell they're titling it. Cataclysmic, apocalyptic, annihilistic, whatever the hell they're calling it. But obviously it's the Planet Namek campaign. But we're going to take a detour from that because I'm pretty confident that we're not going to see any more new units until the month of October. September has, 10 days left in it? 11 days, 12 days, whatever the heck it is. But we don't have enough time for another Dokkan-fest banner to drop. We don't have enough time for another LR banner to drop. And not to mention the stone sales and everything else are leaving 10-3, 10-4, something like that. So pretty confident we're not going to see anything. But what you are about to see right now is me listing all of the Dokkan-fest TURs and telling you which ones are the best.
Hear my thought. I shut it down wherever power is stored. Being real is in the past, watch the cowards get on. It ain't kill me, so it's making me stronger. And these bite-sized rappers now sensing my hunger.
Now, 7 tiers. I've condensed things. This is going to be quicker. Hopefully, I'm not going to go into particular detail with those units. I may make a video going into more detail on characters, on why they belong on a certain tier. Let me know if that's something you want to see, because I'm just going to give quick overall, like 30-second synopsis on each character and why they belong on that particular tier. But if you want to see like an actual in-depth video going over each of the characters on the particular tier and why they have, or why they should be on that tier, let me know, because that would be, you know, 7 videos, 1 for each tier, and just really going over what makes them good. Let me know if that's something that interests you, because at that point I could really articulate why I think they belong there. Now, number 2, keep in mind that if I put characters on a certain tier, it doesn't matter the order. I just think that they're overall, you know, like they are equivalent to each other in terms of power because of numerous different factors. Number 3, this is a global only list, hence why you see JP and LR right there. And I'm also not including Extreme Z Awakenings because they are going to be in their own tier list. And I'm kind of just waiting for the new EZAs to come out before we drop our tier list for that. And I'm also waiting for Bardock to get his EZA so I can drop my LR tier list and just kind of rank him accordingly. But anyway, let's go ahead and start with the Master Roshi tier. Obviously, we're going at the bottom with characters that just lack a ton of defense, and keep in mind that Goku understandably is going to be getting his Extreme Z Awakening very, very soon, the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, so he's going to be a lot better, but right now he has 0 defense. This physical Omega Shenron has 0 defense, Tech Hit has 0 defense, and then this Goku has 0 defense. This Goku is able to counter normal attacks, but it's only 50%, and if he gets supered, he's just dead. Tech Hit, I mean, just, you know, he doesn't do enough damage to justify him having 0 defense. Same thing with Omega Shenron, and then same thing with Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So the tail is here. They don't do enough to warrant the fact that they have no defensive capabilities. And then a little bit better than them in the King Kai tier are characters that do have some semblance of defense. They have a tiny bit, but they also have something else that makes them a bit better, so it boosts them out of the Master Roshi tier, and that's definitely Turles, because Turles, when he transforms, which is rare, it is a very rare thing to happen, but when he transforms, he can get that 130%, I think, attack and defense, which is really solid. And then even if he's in his normal form, no, he doesn't have defense, but he does have one of the best support skills in the game, right? 4 key and 140 and 40% attack for everyone. So that's really, really cool. Is it 4 key or 3 key? It's whatever. 3 key, 40% attack. That's still really solid. And then next up, we're going to have a unit that, again, he has defense some of the times, right? He's able to guard some of the times, and having Tech Ultimate Gohan being introduced into the game really gives him a suitable partner to pair up with. Now, this guy's still not that good, hence why he's in the King Kai tier, but, you know, he's better than the Master Roshi tier, in my opinion. Next up, we're going to throw another Goku family type of unit, which is going to be the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Now, the main thing with this guy, he greatly raises his defense on his super, and he also has a 70% chance to counter super attacks. So that makes it that even though in his passive he doesn't have defense, which would make you think he should belong here, he does have some capabilities that make it so he can be defensive oriented in certain situations. Not all, because a lot of times he will get you killed. Next up is a unit that will get you killed early and is really fantastic late game, which is going to be this Int Goku Black. Obviously, it takes him a long time, at least 6 turns, to transform, and even then you may get unlucky and not transform. You really want him to transform so you can get that 50% crit and you can start actually doing decent damage. Even then, this guy doesn't really do a whole ton of damage. The main thing is, since he's critting, he is going to be bypassing certain defenses, so that is nice. And when he transforms, he is giving ki to everybody, so that's decent as well. But again, early events, he gets absolutely destroyed. And you can kind of say the same thing for almost all events with this Super Saiyan full power Goku. He seems to be to want to be stronger than what he is, but unfortunately the stats kind of lie. They just don't. He's never impressive in any situation. He's not doing particularly good damage. He gets hit way too hard. He has decent link set for other Super Saiyan 4s, but there's just way better options than this full power Goku. And kind of the same thing with this Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I feel like these two are just waiting for their EZAs, which they should get any day now. Actually, the next few units, besides the last one, haven't been confirmed for an EZA, but you could assume that they should be getting it very, very, in the near future, because they're older units. They're aging very poorly. 100% attack and defense is just not enough nowadays, and his conditional support is not particularly great. You have to drop below a certain percentage. You can kind of, give the same reasonings for this Rose Goku. The fact that he's supporting, yes, but the only defense he gains is the 50% that he gives to everybody else. I do like that he's giving support on his super attack as well. When this guy EZAs, he's going to be very good with that God tier link set. And then again, lacking defense, right? Kind of the name of the game for a lot of these earlier units. This Int Golden Frieza, yeah, he can do decent damage, but he just lacks the defense, and so any difficult content, he gets absolutely killed. And then kind of in the same vein as what we were discussing with the Int Goku Black, we have the counterpart, after he fuses, he ends up having to fight this guy, Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. And this Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, I mean, how many times can I say it? Lacks defense. Like in turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5 even, he's going to get absolutely wrecked. It does take him a long time because he's stacking attack and defense, but only at a 20% rate. Yes, it's nice that he's able to super attack multiple times. I do like that. But because it's only a 20% increase, it's still slow going. It's better than some. Don't get me wrong, better than some, but still slow going. Now, again, I kind of talked about this before. I'm putting Physical Cooler here on the King Kai tier. I kind of feel like maybe we can put him a little bit higher, but I'm going to leave him here. His placement is going to change drastically very, very soon. I mean, his Extreme Z Awakening is coming out, so it's like, don't even worry about where he is on this list. When his EZA comes out, he becomes one of the best EZAs in the game, so it's like, where he is right now, it doesn't even matter, bro. But right now, 100% attack and defense. We'll just leave him in the King Kai tier for now. Whatever, who cares, right? All right, so next up is a Supreme Kai tier, and I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys right now. This one's an emotional one for me. All right, this one is an emotional one. Janemba, putting him in the Supreme Kai tier, bro. This guy in theory is like really, really good, but in practice, he's actually been screwing me over recently. There's so many times where I just can't get his support passive to ever work. When he transforms, he's actually less tanky than in his first form, so he can get you killed. It's just like brain dead what they did to this dude. It's really frustrating, and it kind of reminds me of the same thing of what they did to this tech Janemba, who just has no defense until he's in his final form, and even then he has to super attack and it falls off after a while. 40% damage reduction, 50% damage reduction when you don't have a lot of defense, when you don't have a base line of defense, just doesn't help. It's extremely weak, and so it makes it it puts you in situations where you think you're going to be able to tank damage, but if The lack of defense makes it so you would have normally taken 500,000 damage. Your 40% damage reduction is still going to put you at like, what, 275k from a super attack or something insane like that. So it's just like, good God, man, like, come on, dude. So these two units are very, very frustrating, just take way too much damage for the current content in the game. Another unit that's kind of, I feel bad for this in Kid Goku, because what's going to happen is by the time he has other great Dragon Ball characters in the game, he's just not going to be meta anymore. He's just going to be taking way too much damage, and he's not going to be useful. His active skill is great. I love this card, but it's just like he doesn't have any good partners. It's just kind of sad. I was alluding to this a little bit earlier, but another unit that's probably waiting on his Extreme Z Awakening, who should be getting it fairly soon, is this, Tournament Power Vegeta. He's still a decent card. He can take decent amount of damage until he transforms. Even then, 130% on a TUR could make it so his defense isn't the best, but it's not bad. And the fact that he links so perfectly with other people is really, really solid. I'm going to throw the Planet Namek Goku next on the Supreme Kai tier, mainly because he's good, don't get me wrong, but he does have big drawbacks. Number one, he doesn't start stacking defense until he turns Super Saiyan. That could be tricky. I did a video where it took me 13 turns before he was able to transform. Even then, after he transforms, that's when he starts stacking. The reason why I have him up here, though, is mainly because of his Rage mode. I do love that mechanic. It just saves you in certain situations. It's really powerful. His link set is pretty good. And again, when he does transform, that's when he's actually pretty solid. My next choice, I think, might shock a few people, because some individuals might think that he doesn't belong, that he doesn't deserve to be in the particular spot that I'm going to put him in. And that's going to be Physical Future Gohan. Physical Future Gohan, great on long events. The thing with him is he is average looking without Intelligence Gohan. If you don't have Intelligence Future Gohan next to him, he looks pretty bad. It's the same story with this Strength Gohan. This guy looked awful, and he looks half decent next to Tech Ultimate Gohan. This guy looked half decent, and then he looks pretty good next to Intelligence Gohan. So it's really like who you know kind of thing, who you're putting him next to, that really dictates how powerful this guy's going to be. Next up, again, another unit that's terrible for long events, but even with that said, he does have the core mechanic where he turns Giant Ape, or he turns Giant Form, I should say. That can happen turn 1. So if you're going into SBR or ESBR and you take a lot of damage and he shows up next turn, boom, core shows up, you can do free damage, not take any hits that turn. That's really nice, right? I do like that. And his link set is pretty damn good, especially with the regeneration. His attack just gets stronger and stronger as you keep fighting. So he's not like top tier, definitely benefits from an easy A, but he does have certain mechanics that can kind of save you in certain situations. This one, man, people are going to be like, yo, why is this man not a Master Roshi tier? This dude is silently OP, all right? Silently OP this guy is. Put him next to LR Bootanks, transform that man into LR Buhan. They activate almost every single link besides Legendary Power. If he's transformed into the Buhan version, which is fairly easy, it's the one that you're going to transform into the majority of times after 5 turns, this guy's going to be at 200k defense, minimum, and he's going to be doing 3 to 4 million attack stats. I've had this man do a 5 million attack stat before, all right? He's nutty next to that Buhan. So they're really, really good together. And again, it kind of goes with the same thing with this Future Gohan and this Ultimate Gohan here. They looked way better next to certain characters. AGL Zamasu, I kind of like, this is the same story as this dude here, right? Damage reduction is not particularly good when you have no defense to back it up. So this guy takes way too much damage in difficult events. He does insane amounts of damage, and he has a god tier link set with other Goku Black, Zamasu type cards. So hence why he is up here. And then next up is Strength Jiren. I kind of argued whether he should be here or here, but I do feel like, his defense caps at a certain amount. He looks fantastic next to LR Jiren. They're perfect buddies with each other, and they kind of work well together, which is really, really nice. But he does have his faults. His defense has a limit that it can reach, and so at that point he can take a lot of damage, but for the most part he's just a good all-arounder. Let's move up to the we're already on the Supreme Cat tier. Let's move up to the Beerus tier. Now we're starting to get serious. We're going to put Strength Kefla on the Beerus tier, no higher. The main reason is Kefla has her faults, right? She needs a lot of orbs. She's very, very orb hungry. So you need to have orb changers. You need to have orb changers next to her for it to be really effective. The best orb changer for her, obviously, is Strength. What the hell is that kid's name? Kaba. That was the little bum's name. Strength Kaba has to be next to her. They activate a few links. He's also the orb changer that she needs. Plus, he gives her a ton of attack and defense, which is stupendous. But besides that, she can look very mediocre without him. So hence why she's on the Beerus tier. And also takes her a while to get going. Next up, people might be surprised on this one. People sleep. People sleep on this man. People sleep on AGL Gogeta when he turns blue. Do you guys know that when he turns blue, he has a 50% chance to dodge and a 100% chance to crit? Do you know that about this gentleman here? This fine lad here, AGL Gogeta? Yeah, he's stuck at like 130% attack and defense, so theoretically, his defense does hit its limit, kind of like the Jiren, but his link set is fantastic, and 100% chance to crit, 50% chance to dodge. Come on now. You got to give it up to him. Next up, another character that people sleep on, Tech Trunks. He's a baby LR AGL Gohan. He's an extremely good defensive unit in long events, kind of like the Intelligence Goku Black here. The difference is this guy's better in shorter turns because he can hit his, cap quicker. And also, when he turns Super Saiyan, he can hit fairly hard. And again, he has a nuking type ability, very similar to the LR AGL Gohan. The big difference is, unlike LR AGL Gohan's, this guy's nuking ability you can actually trigger every single fight. So he's actually really, really useful. So I'm a big fan of the Tech Trunks there. Next up, Android 17. Actually shocked he didn't get an Extreme Z Awakening, but honestly, he doesn't really need it because he has a very interesting condition, right? I will give you this. If he gets put in a position where you're above, I believe it's 70% HP, and you get hit from one of the hardest bosses in the game, like the final boss of GT Letter Goku event or GT Vegeta event, which will eventually come, or, something that's just insane damage, God of Destruction event, he can get one shot. I will give you that right now. He can get one shot. If you're below 70% HP and that damage reduction kicks in, then he is golden, as well as supporting the rest of the team, which is really, really good, plus giving defense for the rest of the team, which is really, really good, and lowering attack, which goes hand in hand with LR Goku Frieza, is really, really good. So this guy's definitely got his uses. And talking about uses, I mean, how can we not talk about Physical Piccolo? One of the best utility units in the game, spectacular defensive unit, very, very good, and then has that ability to foresee super attacks in, his base form. Doesn't have to transform for that. His transformation mechanic is annoying. We need more Namekians. We need more Namekians not named Piccolo. Give us Super Piccolo, for God's sakes. Give us a good Kami. Give us more Nails. Give us the Namekians from Universe 6, whatever the hell their names are. Give us more Namekians. Give us a Guru character. Make that man get off his chair. You know what I'm saying? Give us a Dende. Do all that stuff, man. Okay, so we'll continue with Physical Super Saiyan Vegeta. Listen, he's still decent in the game. He doesn't really have any faults. He builds himself up stronger and stronger, and then he has that one nuking ability when he transforms into blue, which is solid. The Link level master himself, Physical Broly, is going to be next. He's still really good. The problem is that on really difficult content, his defense sucks. It's just not enough, but he is an offensive juggernaut, so it kind of averages out, in my opinion. Next, we mentioned him before, Int Future Gohan. Just a really good support card, really good defensive card, does a lot of things. And again, next to the Physical Future Gohan, where the hell did I put him? Here he is. They are a perfect pair, so I'm a big fan of that. And then, most controversial probably ever in TUR list is this Kaioken Goku. I'm not a huge fan of him. I understand his merits. His active skill is spectacular, does a ridiculous amount of damage. His link set is godly, and the fact that he's great on longer events. Now, I don't think his defense is as good as people proclaim, fully built up, hence why he's on the Beerus tier and not any higher, but I will admit that he is decent where he is. And next, I think this may be on the Whis tier. We're going on the Whis tier, by the way. This next pick may be the most controversial. It may be the one that pisses the people off the most, because I feel like there are a lot of fans for this particular unit, but I'll explain why I'm putting them where they are. So that is going to be the physical Goten and Trunks going in the Whis tier and no higher. The reason why is they're the only characters on here that can get you killed extremely easily. They can get you killed extremely easily. No one in the Grand Priest tier or Zeno tier can achieve that. Yes, people in the Grand Priest tier and Zeno tier will have, you know, depending on where they're at, may have okay like 150k, and that can get you killed depending on who you're facing. But if you use an item, you should be fine. Goten and Trunks could potentially be at like 50, 60k defense. And even if you use an item, you still can get one shot by certain bosses. Now, again, that's if the RNG is not in your favor. But that is why they're in the Whis tier and I can't put them higher. Now, some people will explain, hey, I've always had good luck with them. They're always getting their defensive bonuses. They're insane. They're always dodging. To me, Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, they're too risky to start off because you have to build that dodge. They're too risky to start off, and so that's why I'm not putting them any higher. I understand how good they are. I understand that after their super attack, they don't have to worry about it. They're doing so much damage, and they're spectacular, especially with the units that make them even stronger. I'm okay with that. I understand that. I acknowledge that. But I want to reemphasize, they're the only unit on, that I'm putting in the Whis tier. That's why I can't put them in the Grand Priest tier, because no one in the Grand Priest tier is a massive, just a weak point. You know, people in the Grand Priest tier, there's some units in the Grand Priest tier that in certain situations could be at like 150k defense, which is not great. It's not great, but it's not 60k. It's not 55k, you know? It's not that. So that's my little disclaimer on the Goten and Trunks. Let's move along. Let's go to the AGL Pycon. Spectacular unit. Very easy to trigger his passive skill. Both parts of his passive skill, which I absolutely love. Then does even more damage when he's getting that unit's super attack, which is incredible. Even though his links aren't the best, hence why I would have put him higher if his links were really, really good. But that's the reason why I have him on the Whis tier. Let's keep it pushing with a unit that I'm starting to like more and more as I use him more and more is the Intelligence Gotenks. I just think he's solid. Even the first 3 turns, he's not particularly bad because of his super attack. It kind of makes up for the fact that he's only starting with 100% attack and defense. In Form 2, he's really tanky. He's actually really solid in Super Saiyan form. And then if you want to really kind of finish a fight and nuke, then you can turn into Form 3. He sacrifices a bit of his defense, but he is doing way more damage for the few turns that he's, gains that bonus. So I'm a big fan of the Gotenks. Next up, Physical Beerus. Just powerful card later on in fights, particularly if you're facing Realm of Gods. You're doing the orb changing, which is incredible. You always want to put him in that first slot, so he becomes even more powerful. And then with those Realm of God type characters, his link set is good. With those other Beeruses, those Whis, those Vadoses, you can bet your bottom dollar that Champas will come out and other Gods of Destructions will come out. Belmond, characters like that, and he'll link up perfectly with. So I can't wait for that to happen. Next, yes indeed, Android 13. I was actually thinking of putting him in the Grand Priest tier because this guy just continues to impress me. Android support becomes unstoppable if you're facing a Goku, meaning, and I'd say that literally, he literally can't be stopped from super attacking. Doesn't matter if they have dodge, he's going to guarantee land his hits, he's going to crit, he's going to do everything absolutely stupendous against Gokus. The only reason why I put him on the Whis tier is because it's only against Gokus and it's not against Saiyans, right? And that's where the drawback is. Same with the AGL Bardock. If his entire condition was when he turned Super Saiyan, doing everything that he does, but against extreme characters, then he would have been higher, right? Grand Priest tier. But because the last part of his condition is against Frieza's only, and let's be honest, that's kind of one reason why LR Goku is held back a little bit because he guarantees crits against freezes, and there's honestly not a whole lot of freezes in the game as villains because you have so many other villains. You have the cells, you have the androids, you have the all the GT bosses, Android 17s, the Omega Shenrons, you got the Brolys, you got the Vegetas, you got so Raditzes, all the movie bosses, Bojacks. You got so many damn villains in the game, whereas in the show you only have a certain amount of heroes and you only have one main character, which is Goku. So obviously you're going to be facing a lot of them, but still spectacular units all around. And then last but not least, on this tier, we're going to put these two together because they're pretty much the same damn character, just slightly different. Vegeta and Goku. My main reason why they're not higher in here is because I'm not a huge fan that they changed their key link when they transform, right, to over in a flash. I'm not a huge fan of that, particularly the Vegeta changes typing, which can kind of screw you up going from, not type, I'm sorry, changes super to extreme. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but besides that, everything else is great. If they're next to orb changers, they're absolutely destructive, but man, they're just really good. And then their leader skills, this dude's was always spectacular. Goku's is getting better because Otherworld Warriors is getting better, and Super Saiyan 3, you can definitely expect them to show a lot of love to that category very soon. Okay, we're moving up to the Grand Priest tier, and you know how I said that Physical Goten Trunks is like my most controversial pick on this list? I think this next one might be more than that. Actually, I'm gonna double down on that. I think the next two are gonna be more controversial. So, Physical Kid Goku, GT Goku. In case you guys watched my last video, I actually had Kid Goku as the top tier. I thought that he deserves to be in the Zeno tier, but let me explain why not. If you're running him on GT heroes or next to other GT heroes, which is the most logical thing to do, then he gains his defensive bonus. And he'll be sitting, depending on whether he's 55% or more, he could be like 175k, 200k, whatever it is, right? Not bad. Feasible, doable, that's usable. And then his offense is off the charts. 5 million minimums, right? Minimums. It's unbelievable. Because he's his own orb changer and he gains more damage with orbs, unbelievable. But if he's not on or next to GT heroes, if you're throwing him on a Goku's family and you're bringing normal Super Saiyan units that aren't from GT, if you're bringing units that are from Dragon Ball Super, if you're bringing units that are from, other parts of Dragon Ball Z, the movies, whatever the case is, and you don't have any GT units on the team, then his defense is down to about 120k to 150k. And now he's extremely vulnerable. Now he can get hit. He ain't sub 100k like Physical Goten and Trunks, but he is susceptible to damage at that point, and that's why he's on the Grand Priest tier. Next up, Strength Videl on the Grand Priest tier. Not the Zeno tier, Grand Priest tier, and I'll tell you why. Videl has the problem that the Broly trio has, the movie Broly trio has. Their passive and super attack and all that stuff that they do is absolutely insane. And they would be considered one of the best characters in the game if they were named something besides Videl or Broly, Limo, and what the hell is the last chick's name? Chile or whatever the hell. If they were Vegeta, if they were Trunks, if they were Goku with that passive, with that super attack, then the categories would open up and the link set would be so much better. Because at the moment, Videl doesn't really link too well with anybody. You want proof? Okay, here we go. Here is Strength Videl. Look at everything that she does. Stacks attack, gains that defense, has the unit super attack, has the costume change. Just does everything insane. If you looked at this, you were like, oh my god, this Goku unit must be broken. But because it's a Videl, because she has courage, money, champion strength, battlefield diva, and because she's only on 4 category, one of them being Defenders of Justice, one of them being Peppy Gals, and one of them being Earthlings, her best linking partner is this Intelligence Mai. And the two categories that they share are Peppy Gals and Earthlings. Her next best linking partner, at only 4 links by the way, is the TUR of the new Gohan and Krillin LR. Now, if you want to actually LR this character, then they lose a link. And they are at just 3 links, which is absolutely horrendous, which is absolutely terrible. Now let's take a look at who they actually share 3 links with. Trunks and Mai. All right, don't share a category. This Gohan and Krillin don't share a category. This Jiren, Defenders of Justice, you ain't rocking that team. This Chi-Chi, Peppy Gals and Earthlings, same problem with Int Mai. Tech Hit doesn't share a category. Trunks and Mai, no category. Free to play card. Oh, finally, some categories. Physical, Chi-Chi, Peppy Gals, and Earthlings. You get the idea of what I'm saying and the reason why I have her on the Grand Priest tier. She's held back so much by the fact that she's a Videl, which is extremely, extremely unfortunate. Now, let's keep going with Strength Bojack. Now, I do have to tell you this, and I'm going to be very forward. I'm going to be very upfront. I am shocked at the amount of hatred this Strength Bojack seems to get. Because when I made a video saying you should use 400 red coins for Strength Bojack, people were actually calling him trash. They were saying he's terrible, which I don't understand how that is possible. Because if you think this guy's trash, then you must think that Strength Cooler is trash. Because their defense is similar to each other, particularly in their untransformed state. Honestly, this Bojack's defense is a little bit better. As well as you must not like space traveling warriors getting that bonus. And you must think that his link set sucks, which I will admit to you, it's a double-edged sword. Because if you're not putting him next to the Intelligence LR Bojack, then you are using this card wrong. You are using this card wrong. They are meant for each other. They are a duo. They are a pair. They should never be separated. There is a reason why they have such wonky links like Heraclan and Galactic Warriors and all that stuff. You put them next to each other, it makes up for all his problems. Not to mention he's an incredible support, just a powerful card all around. And Space Traveling Warriors is very powerful indeed. And let's not forget that a lot of the categories that this guy's on, there's a lot of fantastic support units that can buff this guy up to be even stronger. So just really, really solid unit, as well as the Strength Cooler being a very, very solid unit. Now, the reason why I still have Strength Cooler as high as I do, even though, you know, he can get hurt pretty badly, particularly in his first form, is, I mean, he's a dual support to of some of the best categories in the game. And not to mention, when you transform him, he's taking out 50% of the characters in the game, the bosses in the game. So Pure Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans, I mean, that's just unfair. He's critting against them. He's doing additional super attacks against them. He just obliterates them. Hence why he's still up here. Very, very strong indeed. And then you have the Int Broly, who talk about obliterating, talk about eliminating, talk about destroying. That's what this man does. Now, I will tell you this, he is weak early on. He does have to build up his damage reduction. He does have to build up his defensive capabilities, but he's a wrecking ball, a wrecking machine. There's not many that can do what he does. And you can kind of paint the same picture for Intelligent Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. There's not many that can do what he does. His active skill is absolutely incredible. It is annoying to get, just like the Int Broly's, but when you're able to trigger it, it's game-changing. And 200% attack and defense, and everything that he does for those first, 7-8 turns is incredible. And even then, after the 8 turns, he's still very powerful. But not as powerful as the Zeno tier. And the first choice on the Zeno tier is the Tech Transformation Gohan, Ultimate Gohan. I'm going to go very quick with these guys, okay? Because I don't think that these are even up for debate, all right? He's probably the best defensive TUR in the game, guards all attacks, greatly raises his defense on super attacks, and gives himself ki every single turn. And then if you want to just do a ton of damage, you can transform. And then people talk about like, oh, he doesn't do that much damage. And it's like, well, what are you talking about? Mine's is 90% and he's doing like 2-3 million attack stats, which, okay, is nothing compared to like this physical Goku, but this physical Goku's defense is like nothing compared to this Tech Ultimate Gohan. This man can survive every single situation, even turn ones. People are like, oh, turn one, he can get hit hard. No, he's guarding, you moron. No, he can't, you dumb. All right? What do you... Have you played this game before? He can't. All right? He's impervious. He's impenetrable. He's unstoppable. Next up is Physical Golden Frieza, Transformation Frieza. He just has too many things not to be considered Zeno tier. Yes, he's weak against first attacks because he needs to get hit first to give himself those bonus stats. So I will give it to you there. He's going to be in the 100,000s of defense. But after that, he's unkillable. Once he gains his additional stats, everything else that he does is just incredible. Okay? Everything that he does. Gaining more defense as the fight goes, right? Lowering the attack and defense of the enemy. Sealing, guaranteed sealing the enemy's attack. And then, if you want to go even more big boy and transform him, then now you have a 70% chance to stun. And you're doing unbelievable amounts of damage because he's like, what, massively raising his attack on his super. So somebody actually made a video about him doing like an 8 million attack stat. Like, he gets pretty strong, guys. He gets very, very strong. Don't sleep on this Frieza. And last but not least, I had this man on the Zeno tier last video, but I'm going to reinforce him. He is similar to this Goku. They can do very similar damage. Goku could do a little bit more, but Vegeta is close by. But the reason why he's Zeno tier is because he also gives himself defense. So he doesn't need GT heroes to do unbelievable amounts of attack. And he doesn't need GT heroes to do unbelievable amounts of, defensive numbers. Yes, it helps. He gains that extra attack bonus with GT heroes, but he's still gaining attack on the orbs that he gets. He's still an orb changer, and he's gaining defense on those orbs. So he's always going to be 200k plus defense, always 300k, right? He's just spectacular in all situations, no matter what team he's on. He doesn't need other people because he's making his own orbs. So there you go. That is the tier list, Dokkan Festival exclusives for the month of September. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop it down below. Again, if you want to see a video for each tier and me going into more detail, then also, drop that down in the comments below. While you're down there, if you haven't followed yet, good God almighty, what are you doing? Go ahead and click that blue join button, become a boomer champion like Joe V, or gently rub that sub button, gingerly ring that bell button, lovingly kiss the like button. As always, this is Periodic. See y'all in the next video.